It's worth asking, how long will Fox keep using the 20th century logo in the 21st century? Will they be watching a screener in 2345 and some intern will finally pipe up, we really should update that, and the studio heads will nod quietly in collective realization?
Well, this didn't age well. A few years after you made this video, the 20th Century Fox media conglomerate was acquired by Disney and renamed to 21st Century Fox, while its film studio became 20th Century Studios. The 20th century part of the name was kept as part of its legacy because it was founded in the 20th century and was meant to feel contemporary for the time. What I'm saying is, fuck Disney for buying out Fox.
Nice try, DreamWorks, but you're not going to distract me from noting this 47 seconds of two logos.
Nobody cares! Nobody cares.
Once Upon a Time.
Yet another DreamWorks movie opens with a shot of a storybook and Once Upon a Time riff. The only thing left to do to ensure brand loyalty is to now show a montage of a character doing disgusting Shrek-style poo things.
I'm pretty sure that people who went to see this movie weren't doing so out of brand loyalty or expecting it to be like Shrek just because it's DreamWorks. Need I remind you that they also made The Prince of Egypt and the How to Train Your Dragon films? Those are very tonally distant from this or Shrek with very little toilet humor.
Eating a troll made them feel so happy. They started a tradition.
I'm not surprised. Trolls are apparently 40% hair and 60% pure MDMA.
Jeremy spouts nonsense that has nothing to do with the movie cliche.
Once a year, every year, the Bergens would gather around the troll tree to taste happiness.
But why once a year? If eating a troll makes the Bergens feel so good, wouldn't they be gobbling them up by the bushel? There's a Bergen named Larry that's totally addicted to that shit and is sneaking them off in a Ziploc bag or something and binging at home.
Because if the Bergens ate the trolls year-round, they would deplete the population faster than the trolls can reproduce. The troll tree is the only source of trolls in their village, and even taking into account the other troll societies that we see in the sequels, they're too distant from each other and Bergen Town to be worth going after.
Seriously, the Bergens eat trolls and shit, but they also have a donut shop? Doesn't that shit make them happy too? How can you sadly eat a fucking donut?
Maybe they eat donuts the way that we drink alcohol. It doesn't make their sadness go away, it just suppresses it. This would mitigate the demand for trolls when it's not trollstice, as talked about in the previous sin.
Their lighter fluid looks more like Nickelodeon slime than lighter fluid. Wait, maybe that is Nickelodeon slime and we just didn't know how flammable it was. That really changes the tone of Double Dare.
That's not a sin, that's a dumbass observation.
As there is one amongst us who has never tasted a troll.
Oh, me! She's talking about me!
Wait, Prince Gristle is less than a year old, and he can ride trikes, walk, and talk? With that kind of growth rate, the older Bergen should be in wheelchairs by the time they're 25.
Or, different stages of Bergen aging progress at different rates. Kinda like how Baby Yoda is 50 years old and still a baby, even though his species can live to be approximately 900 years old.
Please make me happy, Princess Poppy.
What the hell are the grills for, then?
Because some Bergens like their trolls raw and others cooked. Dude, have you never been to a food festival where they have the same meat, fruit, or vegetable served in different ways?
5 minutes in and we already have our second underwear sight gag. DreamWorks, you do you.
Jeremy acknowledges what is happening on the screen cliche.
If it were this easy to escape the troll tree, why didn't they do it long before now?
Because Trollstice is the one day of the year when all the Bergens would be gathered around the troll tree. Had they done this on any other day, there would have been a chance that they'd be caught by any Bergens on the outskirts of town.
She is hereby banished from Bergen Town forever!
I know King Gristle is looking for a scapegoat, but why is Chef the one that's banished? I mean, she just cooks the trolls, right? She can't be the only one in town checking in with them on the regular.
Just because the chef cooks the trolls doesn't mean that's her only job. For Christ's sake, she even says so in a scene that you cut out.
Please give it up for your keeper of the trolls! Keeper of the trolls!
Keeper of the trolls!
This is where we will rebuild our civilization.
Unless we've just had a massive time jump, they couldn't be more than a day's walk from Bergen Town. Given their tiny legs and the fact that many of them were slow during the escape, I would think this new spot is about a half mile from certain Bergen death.
Poppy and Branch's trip through the jungle later in the movie does suggest that it was only a day's walk. That's probably all they needed since most Bergens aside from the exiled chef are too depressed and lazy to even go out searching for trolls beyond Bergen Town.
And sweet acoustic!
Huh, I half expected to hear Smash Mouth's All-Star.
Oh, shut up, you would have seen them for that too.
Also, a Trolls movie in 2016. Wait, a strike while the iron is hot.
I don't think this film was made to capitalize on the craze of the Troll doll toys. DreamWorks just had the rights and thought it would make a good movie. I mean, this is a company that has made movies based on books most of us have never heard of. You also contradict this sin towards the end of this video when you claim that the movie was made because of the song Can't Stop the Feeling.
Also, 7 minutes and 32 seconds into the movie is when we get the title of the movie. That's like 8% of the movie already.
And Lilo and Stitch waited over 10 minutes before that movie's title showed up. That was almost 12% of that movie's 85-minute runtime. And you didn't complain about it in your video for that movie. Not that it matters, because plenty of other films, animated or not, similarly don't have their titles extremely close to the beginning or wait until the end to show them, like Transformers 1 and the How to Train Your Dragon films.
And now every troll is free to be happy and live in perfect harmony. Harmony.
Why do princesses always get stuck watching the village kids? They didn't have anyone else who could read from the sacred book of exposition?
I would figure learning about a tragic event would be most impactful if you were told by someone who was a close relative of, or someone who actually was there and experienced it. Those of us who had a Holocaust or 9/11 survivor visit our school can attest.
What the hell are these little things? They're not trolls, and they weren't in the rescue party from 20 years ago. So the troll race must have enslaved, trained, and domesticated an entirely new species for transportation and acoustic drumming, which is pretty goddamn gruesome.
First, it wasn't a rescue party. It was an escape party. And second, be honest, Jeremy, if I told you that this thing is called a woofer bug, would you actually care? And yes, the trolls did domesticate them, which is not gruesome or unbelievable in this cartoon fantasy world.
I could hear you from a mile away. If I can hear you, so can the Bergen.
But they haven't. The trolls have presumably been doing routines like this for 20 fucking years with not one of those fuckers hearing them.
Branch's point here is that Poppy and her friends have never been loud enough in the past 20 years that they could be heard from a mile away. And it only makes sense that they're so loud now because this is a warm-up for an even louder party that they're going to throw later.
I don't do happy.
But why not? Yes, he's had a traumatic event in his past, but he's a troll, and trolls seem to be genetically predisposed to happiness, but Branch is all rebelliously sad. That's like a cow consciously deciding not to produce milk.
You have answered yourself and shown that you are aware of Branch's trauma explained later in the movie. It's not that he and the other trolls are predisposed to happiness. Trolls are capable of showing a complete range of emotion, but the life and society of these pop trolls is happiness-centric. Branch's traumatic event left him lonely and pessimistic, which is why he'd rather avoid fun activities like singing and dancing, lest he risk himself or someone he cares about becoming a Bergen's Happy Meal.
Some folks just don't want to be happy.
Right, but they aren't folks. They are a species of perpetually happy trolls. So it seems that they shouldn't be as dismissive of his behavior. They should treat him more like he's a psychopath.
No, they're not dismissive. Poppy and her friends believe Branch can find happiness in his life, and they try to help him in a part of the scene that you cut out.
I don't do happy.
Branch, I know you have happiness inside you. You just need our help to find it.
Celebrate freedom from the Bergens!
YOLO!
Damn, it's almost like this script was written by 47-year-old dudes that were forced to come up with how they think young millennials talk. Hey, it was!
That's rich, coming from a guy who is now older than that, and tries to appeal to young millennials since they represent a big portion of your viewing demographic.
This movie is basically the ant and the grasshopper fable, but with glitter feces and clown corpses.
Except in The Ant and the Grasshopper, the lesson is about the importance of being prepared for unfavorable times over being carefree and expecting you'll always have time to frolic. In this film, the lesson is that Branch's preparedness, while justified, keeps him from finding happiness and building personal relationships, which gets expanded upon in the sequels.
Also, Poppy is overexcited, but she's not an idiot, right? The music and noise is one thing, but why would she authorize this obvious glitter flare within range of everyone nearby to see?
No, she is an idiot. Poppy's character flaw is that she's arrogant and doesn't think that her decisions will bring about any danger to herself and her people. She didn't think that any Bergens would be in range to even see this firework because no troll knew that the chef was banished and searching for them.
So the chef has been rogue for the last 20 fucking years, but hasn't had a whiff of troll until now? And she's right next to them?
Because the trolls had never thrown a party this big before that would alert the chef to their presence. And she was not right next to them. Your footage shows that she had to use a telescope to even find Pop Village.
It's pretty, but I think this troll village is a little more Pandora than the filmmakers intended.
Jeremy sends something he likes and makes an unwarranted reference to popular culture cliché.
Gotcha.
Really, movie? Can there not be one animated non-Pixar movie that doesn't have the character poops when scared cliché? I would say you're better than that, but after previously watching this, I know that not to be true. So carry on, I guess.
I can name a hell of a lot more than one. Actually, all the films that I mentioned earlier never had poop or fart when scared jokes, like Lilo and Stitch, Transformers 1, The Prince of Egypt, the How to Train Your Dragon films, as well as more DreamWorks films like Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, The Wild Robot, and Ruby Gillman: Teenage Kraken. And let's not act like Pixar is above toilet humor in general.
Nice.
Poppy's hair somehow has the strength to tug firmly against Chef's grasp, even though Chef's been picking up the other trolls by the hair until now.
But as you're clearly showing, the chef isn't trying to pick up Poppy by the hair. Creek is the one holding on to it to resist being pulled away. And setting aside the fact that this is magic hair in a cartoon fantasy world, hair can be incredibly strong. So the thing that actually made this rescue attempt fail was his grip strength, or rather, lack thereof.
Chef has access to many other trolls if she'd just spend a little more time looking for them, like, she's been doing for the past 20 years.
But they scattered like roaches, and she wouldn't have been able to fit them all in her one fanny pack anyway. The real sin is that the only trolls that she caught just so happened to be all the ones in Poppy's closest already established friend group.
Celebrate freedom from the Bergens!
Branch decimated this invitation when Poppy gave it to him, but it's magically without a scratch here because we need a reason to like this character.
Scrapbooking and greeting card making are regular parts of troll culture, so much so that even a recluse like Branch would naturally know how to repair one. The fact that Branch even went to this effort adds to the movie trying to get us to like this character.
Also, Grump secretly wants to join the fun cliché.
Jeremy invents a cliché that he'll only ever use for this one-time cliché.
Will you go to Bergen Town with me and save everyone?
There are still, 30 trolls left in the village, but Poppy goes to the one dude that doesn't get along with anyone to ask for help.
Because he knows more about Bergens than any other troll. I mean, he's only been preparing for a Bergen attack for
20 fucking years.
And it's my fault they were taken, and now I don't know what to do.
Why don't you try scrapbooking them to freedom?
Jesus, this movie cast maybe the two most likable leads in the world, but gave them such huge character flaws that it's impossible to root for either of them.
First, sending something you like cliché. And second, you're yet again misunderstanding why movies try to make us root for certain characters, even though we don't have to. Flaws aren't supposed to make us like or dislike a character, it's how they develop and overcome said flaws that connect them with an audience. Even narratively flat characters like Obi-Wan in the original Star Wars trilogy or Sonic in pretty much all of his video games can still be likable despite having flaws.
Hey, anytime, Poppy. See you in 10 years.
Branch clearly doesn't expect Poppy or any of the trolls to live that long.
Narration.
This journey to Bergen Town is suddenly fraught with peril, but just 20 years ago, the king lit a bunch of slow-ass trolls out here in less than a day. Were there many more trolls that didn't make it during the trip that we don't know about?
There were, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they died. As we found out in Trolls Band Together, that Viva and a group of other trolls didn't make it out of the tunnels with the rest of the escape party and went a separate way until they took refuge on an abandoned Bergen golf course.
Poppy's walk to Bergen Town takes her through an acid rainstorm, a desert, and a f***ing blizzard within the span of one day.
Narration. Again.
Branch Ex Machina.
Jeremy misuses Deus Ex Machina when something happens suddenly cliché.
Poppy, hang on!
Branch must have been following Poppy throughout this journey, right? And if so, he's casually watched her get threatened with fire, eaten, pooped into an egg, and poisoned, but chooses now to get concerned about her well-being.
Branch was hesitant to even go on this mission at first, which gave Poppy a head start. This is him only now having caught up to her in the nick of time. The real sin is this troll panty shot.
They're alive, Branch. I know it.
You don't know anything, Poppy. And I can't wait to see the look on your face when you realize the world isn't all cupcakes and rainbows.
Why did Branch come on this excursion then? I know he wanted to get away from the hugging and singing at Trolltown, but he could have gone anywhere else.
You partially answered yourself with the singing and hugging bit, but the other reason Branch decided to go is because he cares about Poppy's well-being and actually likes her. And I don't blame him, she's Anna Kendrick in troll form. I mean, they made it obvious earlier that Branch likes Poppy when he repaired her invitation along with others, and when she visited the bunker, Branch embarrassingly tried to hide them like a teenage boy hides his collection of supermodel magazines.
Wait, that's a boot, and fast food litter, and a car tire. There are humans here? Or there were humans, which is the more disturbing option?
These all likely came from Bergen Town since this is on the outskirts of it. While Bergens mostly walk around barefoot, we know from the roller skate later that shoes are not a foreign concept to them. That roller rink also serves food, so that and the donut shop you pointed out earlier would explain the fast food litter. And Bergens do have vehicles like the motorcycle that we see Bridget and Gristle drive in Trolls 3, so that explains the car tire.
One of these tunnels leads to the troll tree, and the others to certain death.
Yeah, but doesn't the troll tree also ensure certain death? I mean, that's where the trolls have been picked for Bergen food for many years.
Except Cloud Guy isn't referring to them certainly dying. As shown in the Trolls The Beat Goes On Netflix series, certain death is actually the name of a character.
Now I'm thinking we hug.
Movie continues to derive humor out of various characters soiling themselves in terror.
Jeremy acknowledges what is happening on the screen cliché.
Wait, you're telling me there's only one Flurg restaurant in town, but there are 3 Narnars?
Pointing things out on the screen cliché. Also, Narnars are like the McDonald's or Starbucks in Bergen society.
They're as miserable as you, which means they haven't eaten a troll yet.
So what you're saying is, if a few of them eat trolls, then they will all be happy. I would assume that would only make a few of them happy, and the rest of them extremely resentful.
I know you're trying to milk a semantics argument out of this dialogue, but you know damn well that she meant that because none of the Bergens are happy, none of the trolls that were captured have been eaten yet.
I am their king.
What happened to the John Cleese version of the king? It's been 20 years, sure, but young Gristle is under 21 at this point. He couldn't have been that old, and who knows how long the Bergens live. I want answers to these unimportant questions.
As this film's target demographic can easily infer, Gristle Sr. had passed away, hence why his only son is now king. And while he could have died of old age, it could have just as easily been cancer, heart disease, or a freak accident. The reason isn't important, but the fact that he's absent is because it influences Gristle's growth as a character.
We must all remain calm.
Especially since at least 3/4 of you could simply fit between the bars of the cage and just walk the hell out of here. Sorry, Biggie.
Can you even count, bro? There are 9 characters in this cage, if we're counting Satin and Chenille separately and not counting Mr. Dinkles. So the fraction should be 8/9. And while they could free Biggie if the rest of them got out, where the hell would they go in this castle that is crawling with Bergens?
He who controls the trolls controls the kingdom, and I am that he.
You're a dude! Unusually transphobic humor for a modern children's movie in 2016.
Why do you always assume that LGBT topics can't be joked about? It's entirely possible to construct jokes that are inclusive of such topics without painting them in a bad light. In this case, the joke is that Cooper thought that the chef was trans because he didn't grasp her use of wordplay, which undercut the chef's attempt at being dramatic. There's nothing phobic about this.
This superhero ability seems to come and go. Couldn't Poppy have used it before the spider webs got her? Couldn't the captured trolls use it to open the cage while Chef isn't looking? I would like this movie so much more if it were 30% more hair-centric.
I already explained the problem with the captured trolls, but for the spider webs, Poppy was disfigured by a poison berry at the time and fell on the webs from above, so she didn't have anything to grab onto to stop her fall.
Oh, my dad said the first time should be special.
This second fake out is long enough to remind me that even though it's only 81 minutes long, this movie had to pad its runtime.
This sin is long enough to remind me that even though it's only 19 minutes long, this video had to pad its sin count.
There's a Bergen Beat magazine. Who publishes it? Who writes the articles? There's a cover story titled End Misery, but how the hell do they know how to do that? And why does Bridget have to hide it anyway?
All that gish gallop aside, why hide it anyway? This is why I made the Supermodel magazine joke earlier.
You have to sing.
I told you I don't sing.
Amazingly talented character refuses to do the thing he's amazingly talented at, cliché.
Jeremy invents a cliché that he'll only ever use for this one time.
Why not? Why won't you sing?
Because singing killed my grandma, okay?
Yes, I agree. This moment is funnier than it should have been. But that laugh.
And I need you now tonight. And I need you more than ever.
Why do these erstwhile euphoric trolls continue to sing depressing-ass songs?
Because as I already explained, just because they're usually happy does not mean they don't understand or can't feel depression. I mean, the end of the movie shows such.
At this point, you could tell me I'm watching the movie Sing, and I would totally believe you.
Jeremy confuses a movie about trolls trying not to get eaten with a movie about animals trying to win a singing competition just because they both have singing. That's the sin.
Is this the 3rd or 4th time-killing song montage this movie has made me suffer through? I lost count.
It's the 0th, because while I'd argue that all of the song montages before this built upon characterization, this one especially does so, as it shows that Bergens can find happiness without eating trolls.
I'll just get my worthless scullery maid to get another place setting ready for the lovely lady Glittersparkles.
Gristle only introduced Bridget as his +1, so the only way Chef could know her name is if the screenwriters were committed to seeing Christine Baranski chew the hell out of this line.
Sinning something you like, and making a bold-faced lie. Gristle does introduce Lady Glittersparkles to the chef by name.
You seem to be having fun.
Oh, I am. Meet the lovely Lady Glittersparkles.
And the filmmakers really used the finest vintage technology and music for this workout montage. Between Gristle working out to Donna Summer's I Feel Love, Bridget singing Lionel Richie's Hello, Branch singing Bonnie Tyler's Total Eclipse of the Heart, Troll Village singing Earth, Wind & Fire's September, and Kool and the Gang Celebration, and Branch and Poppy's Cyndi Lauper True Colors duet, was anyone even thinking about the present day?
I think DreamWorks made the right choice to stick with mostly older songs because most music from the past 15 years sucks ass. Do you have any idea how many times I had to listen to The Weeknd when I worked at a Domino's because he was my manager's favorite artist? It was one of the reasons I quit. True story.
How is this skate being propelled exactly? Or steered?
You are showing in your footage that Fuzzbert is running on the wheel to propel the skate forward.
I'm sick of writing them, you're sick of hearing them, but can we please rise above glitter shitting? Or is that just where we are as a movie society? You don't see that stuff in Manchester by the Sea.
Jeremy expects a children's film based on the Thomas Damn Trolls dolls to be anything like Manchester by the Sea. Like, bro, did you know what you were getting into when you saw the DreamWorks animation logo that you sinned?
Now let's prepare the main course.
Movie needs to pick a side, be a bonkers fairy tale about a grim death for the protagonist, or a lighthearted adventure for a f***ing toy line.
Can a movie not be both? I mean, the 1986 Transformers movie was also a toy line-based movie that had a grim death scene, but also had lighthearted moments.
Are you being sarcastic?
Yes!
Oh my god.
Admit it, you half expected this character to poop himself out of shock, didn't you?
Smidge is female, despite her masculine voice, which is the entire joke of this character. And no, we were not expecting her to do or say anything besides this line, because this isn't even the first time this running gag was used in the movie.
Oh my god.
You have to wonder, if a troll loses its color, does it still bring happiness to a Bergen that eats it? Probably not, right? So why didn't they just lose hope a long time ago and make it useless for them to eat them?
Sure, they could just become tasteless by losing all happiness, but that wouldn't make for a satisfying and thematic way to resolve this film's moral conflict and be a good lesson for children, now would it?
I've heard this is exactly what happens to women, and many men for that matter, when Justin Timberlake starts singing.
Singing something you like, and singing this scene.
Bergen Ex Machina.
Something, problem, solution, this isn't a Deus Ex Machina.
And I love you for that. I love you too, Bridget.
For no other reason this movie gives me except plot convenience.
Plot convenience? The Pop Trolls helped Bridget learn how to find happiness, and they learned that Bergens aren't all evil. How is it that a child can understand the emotional weight of this exchange better than you can?
Do you really think I can be happy?
Of course! It's inside you! It's inside of all of us!
I got this feeling inside my bones.
And by inside you, I mean this song will be stuck inside your head for the next 3 days.
Sinning can't stop the feeling. That's worth these many sins, as I'll explain in the next one.
Also, it's obvious this entire movie was just a setup for this song, which was released 6 months before this movie came out, in a cheap grab for the Song of the Summer in 2016.
No, the movie had been in production for far longer than 6 months. The song was written and performed by one of the lead actors and released 6 months ahead in order to promote the movie, not the other way around. And while not my personal favorite song from this or the sequels, at least it doesn't fall into the grease trap that is 90% of modern pop. Looking at you, Ariana Grande, Bruno Mars, Drake, and Taylor Swift.
Nice troll doll. Troll dolls as a brand are owned by DreamWorks Animation, so good job. You just helped bankroll Shrek 5.
They actually bankrolled the Trolls film, which is way worse.
Sorry, Birdman. Gonna have to disagree with you.